Welcome back to another Sunday walk video. It is pretty beautiful out. Not too cold, not too wet, not filled with bugs. It's a nice day to go for a walk. However, I am feeling tired. I spent most of today outside enjoying the weather, so I'm low energy right now. But we'll get through this, guys. Let's talk, of course, about Bitcoin, alts, and what to expect this week. There are a lot of major things that are happening this week that could definitely move markets, either up or down. So let's talk about them. Also, yeah, I got something else to say at the end of this video. Okay, so obviously last week we had war breakout in the Middle East. Seems like things have escalated. So that's, of course, something to look out for this week. Israel preemptively attacked Iran, and Iran now is shooting missiles back, and it seems like it's full-blown war. So obviously that situation is not good, and it could escalate. Now, how it's affecting markets around the world, obviously, whenever there's war, there's uneasiness, there's like a knee-jerk reaction to kind of sell everything off. And if you look at what's happening right now, actually, it's been pretty good, all things considering, because when we saw the Ukraine and Russia war kick off, markets tanked a lot worse. U.S. markets, Bitcoin and crypto, I mean, that was during a time when, you know, I covered this headline where Bitcoin fell down like 9% in a day because of war. And we haven't really seen that. But, you know what? If things escalate, we could definitely see markets go down even more. I just want to bring this up. And also how the wars may be affecting things going forward is with oil prices. Barrels of oil went up hugely last week and could continue to go up. And there's like some kind of equation, but I think I saw something like every $10 that a barrel of oil goes up by, inflation goes up by like 0.2% or something like that. There's some kind of rough calculation. Because with oil going up, everything just gets more expensive. Shipping becomes more expensive, and also manufacturing. But there's like a lag, obviously, right? So that's also something to look out for, I guess. If barrels of oil continue to go up or just stays at an elevated level, that can affect things, and that's not really good. And then also that relates to what's coming up this week. So outside of the war stuff, and we really don't have any control, or I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen this week, but just wanted to say that obviously that is something that's escalating, and the story is still building right now, so don't know where that's going to go. However, how that relates to this week, well, we have three major events. One, we have the Genius Bill vote, the final vote in the Senate. That's coming Tuesday. Now, it's anticipated this will go past for sure, because the previous vote got 60-something votes in the Senate, and that was for like an amendment, and it was like to move on to the final vote. And this is the final vote. And this time around, only like 50 Senate members needs to agree. So if it got 60-something last time, then 50 this time, probably going to pass, right? So that's coming up on Tuesday. So that's very positive. A lot of people have high hopes for the Genius Bill, which relate to stable coins, but really it's good for the entire industry, right? It sets a precedence for new regulations, new favorable regulations to be passed in the US, and it moves the industry forward. So so that's coming up Tuesday. Now, that doesn't relate to the war, but what does relate to the war and oil and inflation is what's coming up on Wednesday. We do have another FOMC meeting and a press conference. Man, I misspoke about the bugs. Now they're starting to eat me. So FOMC meeting starts Tuesday, and press conference is going to be held on Wednesday. So that, of course, does relate to inflation, relates to any hikes that we may have to look forward to. Yeah, it's hard to concentrate. This one bug or mosquito keeps following me, will not leave me alone. The things I do for you guys. Just kidding. So lost my train of thought. Yeah, so that's coming on Wednesday. Now the thing is, the CME prediction is basically 0% that Powell's going to cut this time around. The percentage for July did go up in July, and percentage for September went way up after our last inflation readings. So that's good. But obviously, if price of oil starts going up, and because of this whole war thing, Powell is probably, whatever plans that he had before, probably now he has to reevaluate again, because he doesn't know either, right? He might say, well, there may be some temporary inflation caused by the price of oil going up because of the war, but because of it, I have to wait and see before I cut rates. So that kind of throws a wrinkle into things. President Trump has called Powell to go ahead and cut a full percentage point because he wants rates to go down. He wants that 10-year yield, 20-year yield to go down, so that when the United States need to issue more bonds, we save a whole lot on interest. But Powell, in the past, he has never listened. He has never caved to pressure. He just kind of did his own thing along with the other 4 Fed governors. So it's very likely he may postpone things. So basically on Wednesday, I don't think there's going to be any big push upwards. However, there may be a surprise. During the Q&A, during the press conference, reporters may ask him something, and he may be a little bit more dovish with his answers. And if so, then that can swing markets upwards. But I'm thinking because of the war, like if the war didn't happen, then I think that's probably likely. But because this war broke out, he's going to be more inclined to be careful and give more vague answers once again. So it's unfortunate. But I guess we'll see. That's coming up on Wednesday. And then Thursday, something that's kind of hidden, not a whole lot of people are looking at it, is there's another 20-year bond auction. The last one came in really weak, so that wasn't good. I think we had another one that was a 15-year or 10-year, came in weak. In fact, so weak that the Fed themselves had to buy some of the bonds offered because of lack of demand. So that could also swing things. Last time I remember when we had weak demand with the auction, it actually helped Bitcoin go upwards. I remember, it was not that long ago. I think it was like a month ago. We saw a weak auction, and mysteriously we saw like Bitcoin go up because of it. So that could also be a big thing coming up this week. So we got 3 big things. And plus I'm sure there's other economic data that I'm not mentioning now. They could also move things. But the three main things outside of war is we got the Genius Bill Act vote. The final vote, if it gets approved, then it goes to Trump's desk and he signs it into law. So that is very likely. That's coming up Tuesday. Wednesday we got the FOMC press conference, and then Thursday we got the auction. Potentially these all could be good, right? We'll see. Now as for the war, again, we don't know how it's going to escalate. You know, hopefully it doesn't lead to World War III. But what I do know is, even with the knee-jerk reaction, like the sell-off that we had, Bitcoin remains strong. It's at 105 right now. It went down to 104, went up to 110 recently. I mean, it's been hovering, but overall, even with the knee-jerk sell-off, Bitcoin's been really strong. So that's fantastic. Shows you how strong Bitcoin is now, even versus a few years ago. The landscape is completely different. But with alts, not so much. With the knee-jerk reaction, alts went down a little bit lower. You know, it seems like every time we have some kind of volatility and dip, alts lose a little more momentum and Bitcoin remains the same. And that's because you have a whole bunch of retail investors that get scared and they sell off. So that's the difference between retail investors and institutional investors. Yes, Bitcoin is not rock solid. It did come down a little bit. Considering we're hovering at 105, 106, I said we're a pretty good spot. We're close to all-time high, and we haven't really fallen even when this conflict hit. So it really goes to show you this narrative of Bitcoin being a store of value and seen as a hedge against inflation really come to light this cycle. Last cycle we didn't have this kind of strength. Last cycle, I bet if you look at it, when the war broke out and weeks afterwards, Bitcoin probably went down 20-30%. But then it found its footing and of course came back up. But this time around, we're not seeing the same thing. So unfortunately for alts and bag holders, we have to go through this. Altcoin season, right, is still not around. Bitcoin dominance is still going up. A lot of people keep measuring Bitcoin dominance, and I think when Bitcoin dominance finally comes down is when altcoin season starts, which makes a lot of sense. But Bitcoin dominance is not going down right now because institutions, they're not selling. They're DCing, they're holding. They're not reacting to a lot of what's going on, but retail is. So until retail gets to maturity point, like most of you guys watching, and realize, well, the good projects are not going to go away. They're going to continue to build. They have large treasury. They have solid leadership, and the volume and dApps and usage continue to thrive. Then, yeah, these are worth holding on to and worth DCAing. Some of you guys had that mentality, but a lot of people just don't. They just like sell off. They keep trading and trading and trading, and they're not really investing. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing right now, unfortunately. But the good thing is, altcoin season always comes. Okay, I think it's going to come this cycle as well. We're not quite there yet. Even if you look at 2021, like Bitcoin's dominance was like at 70% before it started coming down. That's when we went to true altcoin season. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is mid 60s. So we haven't peaked yet. If Bitcoin dominance was in the 70s already or near 80s, then I would say, okay, maybe we're not going to get that altcoin season. But it's not. So if you compare this to last cycle, it's kind of the same thing. Like, we haven't reached that peak yet. And when Bitcoin dominance does peak and comes down, then the alts will thrive. The question is, will Bitcoin dominance peak this cycle because of the institutions? That's the unknown. I still think, and I mentioned this many times, even in my video yesterday, Ask George video, right? Someone asked about the top 10 alts, or what's going to happen with them. I still think they're going to come back. And the reasons I gave are in my video yesterday. So if you didn't check it out, please do so. I talked about I answered 2 questions. One may have upset people. At least I saw a few people upset, but it's relevant. Both of them are good questions. So continue to submit your questions, guys. I like doing them, and I do think a lot of people do enjoy this kind of new segment. So check it out. I still think altcoin season will come. Just gotta wait. So for the great projects, continue to hold on DCA. That is what I'm doing. But I'm definitely making sure that I have enough Bitcoin. I'm definitely making sure I'm not like unlike previous cycles where I kind of like spread out my alts and sort of like take risks on more micro caps, small caps, like early on. Not doing that right now. Sticking with the big caps and Bitcoin. That's it. I think when altcoin season comes, then we can speculate on the newest micro caps or small caps, the ones that have huge potential, but right now, not the time. All right. Outside of these things, that's really it. Just a few announcements. I did mention about my free Discord. A lot of people just want to chat and converse with others, or with me or the team, right? Free Discord is open. You can find that at CryptosRUs.com/learn. So I did see quite a few new members join, but I know more of you guys may want to just talk and chat, or maybe look at some charts or something. So it's there for those of you guys that want to converse with others in this space, just like the Q&A session of the live streams. Also, in case you guys are curious, those of you guys that saw my big Bitcoin necklace that I printed, it was in the back of my video yesterday at Ask George. In case you want to get your own, you can find that under the merch shop on CryptosRUs.com too. That thing is a pain in the ass to print. It takes like 7 hours to print, and then I have to assemble the links, but it looks beautiful. I'm gonna start wearing it at conferences and stand out. It's enormous, but in case you guys want to grab one as a souvenir to wear around for parties or whatever, conferences, I have it available. It's under the merch shop. Outside of these things, there's really nothing I am completely drained. Like, on a side note, it's not even like that hot right now where I am, but just being under the sun drains you. At least it drains me. It feels like you're getting cooked, right? When you're under the sun for too long, like you're being baked, and somehow being baked gets you tired. I am feeling it. I am feeling it, and these bugs will not leave me alone. All right, that's it. I'm gonna finish this walk. This is actually a long video. It's almost 20 minutes. I thought this was a short video. This is a long video. All right, guys, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, usual time. So take care. Bye-bye.